What is up, guys? It is your boy Genkila, and today I want to talk a little bit about anime. For the people who don't know, I'm a real type of anime kind of guy. I more or less love it. I think this is better than all the shows we see on Netflix. I think it's just amazing because, for example, when you see someone fly in anime, that person is actually flying. If you look at a real show, you know this person is either behind a CGI screen or a green screen, or he's hanging on wires, and it kind of pulls away the real aesthetic of someone flying or doing something out of the natural. However, like many other people on YouTube at the moment, we can see that Attack on Titan is a big thing, and just like them, I've been watching it since the very first season, and this was approximately 7 years ago. I was more or less a bit younger, and I thought the show was amazing. This was also the time when Death Note came out, and I was looking for something else to replace Death Note, and then Attack on Titan was put onto my list because a friend of mine recommended it. So let me just start up with the very first 3 seasons, and this is something I more or less need to talk about because these seasons are the birthplace of everything that happened so far in Attack on Titan. You know, without the season, you don't really have any other season to talk about. You know, we need to talk a little bit about them. And I want to keep this as much as spoiler-free as possible, but in case I do something, guys, spoiler alert, watch the show first, come back later. This is just a warning of myself. Just like many other people, I hate it when people make spoilers, and especially when you go on 9gag, Twitter, on Facebook. It's just frustrating to see spoilers that no one wants to see, and especially if you have not seen it yet. Anyway, very quickly, season 1 to season 3 I think were just great. I think the story is very linear. We can see that in this paradise island, aka within the walls, we have these characters such as Eren and his squadron. They need to survive killing all these titans. Eren's parents basically get killed. He gets very annoyed by it. He wants to become the best Titan killer in the world. He gets that title until season 3. He becomes more and more basically better at what he's doing, killing titans, becoming better at it, becoming a titan. He's basically the king of it. And it's a very good story so far. There is a lot of storytelling, and I love the character development itself. I mean, everyone has a bit of a background story to why they're doing what they're doing. And I think this is beautiful. And I think this is also where season 4 comes in very handy, because we can kind of see the backstory of those other characters that didn't come from within the walls, aka the other titans that were attacking the Paradise Island. Nonetheless, let's jump right into season 4. What did I actually think about it? Just like many other people, I thought like, what the fuck is actually happening in the first episode? Did I miss an episode in the last season? What is happening? Why all of a sudden is there a desert? Why are we attacking people within the desert? Who are these new characters? Who is Gabby? Who is Falco? And before we go even further into the story itself, can I just say that I was just really confused on what is happening. I am thinking, what am I even watching? Is this the real Attack on Titan, or is this fan-made? Because it just seems so unlinked at the very first episode. And I was actually really close to turning off the season because I was like, oh no, it's going to be something that is really confusing again, and you have to watch the entire season to get all the answers. And I kind of hate when companies do that. They kind of tell you like, hey, you want to know what's happening? You better watch the second episode. But hey, in the second episode, it doesn't get explained either. And then in the third episode, it more or less gets explained in the fourth episode. Season 4 itself answers a lot of questions on what is happening in season 1, 2, and 3. I think this is a great part about the entire season. What I just don't like so far, and I'm only on episode 11, so we're still waiting to see what's going to happen and how it's going to progress, are actually the very first characters we get introduced to. We, for example, get introduced to a character named Gabby. Gabby is a very strong character, and don't get me wrong, she is fine. She has this bit of fire. The only thing I just don't like about her, and she's still like this until basically episode 11, that she always just does things without thinking, or she talks, or she rambles how she wants to kill the enemy because it's going to survive the entire world and she's going to be the best. And you know, it's always like, oh god, here we go again. And it's a little bit frustrating, and that's something I just don't like too much about this character. She's way too young, and yet she seems like she has more power than other people who are more mature than her. So I'm thinking, so how does it work in their military? Children can do what they want and that's it? Or what am I missing here? Because if I'm not mistaken, she's actually a kid. And then we're also introduced to a character, Falco. And Falco, I think, is super cool as well. He's He's a very quiet, he seems like the person who will overthink everything and basically discuss on like, is this a good idea, is this a bad idea, because all he wants is for everyone to be safe. He doesn't want to fight. He has a good heart. The only thing that I see so far is that he's more or less getting used for his heart. He's more or less trying to glue everything together, but then he's going to go through more shit because people don't respect what he's doing basically. They don't see what kind of person he is really, and he's basically mentally torturing himself with all the things that are happening. For example, big spoiler, he more or less helps a very important character to get into a city to spread notes, and it basically backlashes to a war. That's a lot of pressure for a kid to go through. What I also like about the 4th season is where I got confused very much about the timing. I first thought like, are we in the past, are we in the future? But then all of a sudden I see a character that everyone will know, and that is Reiner. You can see he's older, he has a bit of a mustache, he's a bit roughed up, and you can kind of see that he went through something that we're not familiar with. And that was something that I just didn't like too much. Like, why do we always have to wait to see what's happening? We don't even get backlashes. We more or less just get told that something happened, but we're not shown what. And I was just so curious on what happened ever since the last episode in season 3. But if I have to come to another character that's very important to the season, it's a character we all loved, and it's something that I think a lot of people would have been shocked about, is the progression of Eren Yeager. What is he doing in season 4? And holy shit, he just went from someone you were basically going for, like, yeah man, you do it, you're right, you know what you're fighting for, to like, holy crap man, you're actually really scary and you're about to kill someone. Like, without warning, he basically attacks an entire city in his Titan form, kills children, kills parents, kills mothers, kills everything just to take revenge. And oh my god, it's a beautiful, beautiful few episodes to watch. Nonetheless, it's just a very different Eren than we're used to. And it makes me think like, who is actually the enemy? Who is actually the good guy? Who is actually the bad guy? What is actually happening here? And that is something that I just didn't really like too much about Eren's progression. However, if I think about it a little bit longer, it is a little bit more natural. Eren has gone through so much shit where you can literally see that he is where he is and he's not taking anything at the moment. He wants to destroy his world. He wants to destroy everything what these people took away from him. And he's completely correct. However, you can see that he's a completely different person because, again, very quick spoiler, turn it off right now, turn off this video ASAP if you don't want to hear it. But you basically see everyone going against him at one point, and you can also see that his friends, or that used to be his friends, they're having a bit of an attitude upon each other because Eren is basically like, you know what, you cannot stop me anyway. I'm a Titan, you're not holding me on my terms, and you're not holding yourself on your terms. I'm here because I'm deciding to be here, and I'll go out whenever I can. He is really showing that he is the boss on the playing field right now, which I'm not really sure how it's going to end in the season, but oh my god, I hope it's going to be something interesting, because it really seems there's not only a war between different family members or royalties, it also seems there's a bit of a war going within the grounds itself. A very important key point that I also noticed about when I talked about the very first episode, we get introduced to these bunch of kids. The first few episodes, I didn't understand what was happening. I thought like, who are they? What are they talking about? Why are they even here? Like, what the fuck is even happening? But then you actually notice that, hey, there's a lot of similarities between Eren's group and Gabby's group of basically friends, where both of them perfectly see that, hey, there is someone else attacking us, therefore we have to kill them to live free. And it seems like everyone is on the same boat. And I don't know about what's going to happen. Again, I didn't finish the season. Nonetheless, you can basically see that most likely, and these are just my predictions, something is going to happen where these kids are going to be the future of the entire world population and how everything is going to be dominated or how everything is going to be resolved. I think they're the ones that are going to learn from Eren's mistake and basically are going to become something better, and where there is world peace and all these small things that really matter. I think this is going to happen. I think that is how it's going to resolve, or else why would they be there? It doesn't really make sense. Why are these younger kids who basically have no power, are now enslaved in another foreign country? What are they going to do? They have to have an importance to a certain point, and what is that going to be? It can only be that they are going to be the end piece of peace. I mean, pun may be intended, but not really. But I think this is really the point where I'm like, okay, something is going to happen where these kids still play a role. If I have to give the season a rating from basically season 1 to season 3, and now we're introduced to this complete new season where everyone has grown up, become more badass, become more independent from everyone else, I'm going to give this season a very solid 8 out of 10. Is it a perfect season so far? Yeah, there's a lot of flaws. For example, the intro didn't make sense at all. I kind of wish they just got like a 10-minute flashback on what is happening. Where are we? Why are we here? But we didn't even get anything. We're thrown in this really weird war that no one understands what's happening. And I'm not the only one who thinks it. A lot of creators think like, holy shit, what actually happened here? Once the season has finished, I will come back to this topic to say how is it, what do I think of it, but so far I think it is one of the better animes that is out there so far. There's too many animes that basically follow the same storyline. There's a good guy, there's a bad guy, the bad guy gets killed, and maybe there's a worst guy out there, he has to get killed as well, and then blah 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 blah. But here you can see there's a lot of character development, and in season 4, the egg is open, the flower has bloomed. Now we can see what's happening, and you can really see, is it a good flower, is it a bad flower? Is Eren a good person or a bad person? This is what I'm looking forward to. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of backstory still that we're still missing, and that's true. We're still basically missing a lot of questions, but I think it's going to be a really good show to finish on. I mean, if you guys don't watch anime, go into it. That's all I can say. It is a fantastic, well, escape in realism. Very quickly as well, a lot of people have commented that the animation is not as good as previously. I'm going to be honest, I noticed nothing about the animation being worse. I didn't even notice that it was better or worse. Only people started complaining and I started looking into it. Only then I started realizing like, okay, there is a few little differences in the CGI. But oh my god, guys, the story is still strong. I don't care how good it looks. It's not about how it looks. It's about the story. It is story driven. So I don't really care about that. But let's come back on it again when the season has finished and let's see how it actually happens. I'm really curious, but like I say, I think there is something going to happen and these kids are going to be the future of the entire world and how the world is supposed to view the world on Titans and the wars and everything, and it's basically the glue to everything.